Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show and tell live with Hosna Qasmei, and we're excited to get started. Doing this live, it's our second, third one, and let's have some fun. Um, Hosna, you want to join us on stage? There we go.
Yes, hello. How's it going, Wayne?
Good, good. You?
Good. It's early Tuesday morning, getting ready to start the day.
Yep. Excited to have you here. Excited to have you here. So I'm gonna do a quick spill, and then I'll pass the stage on to you.
Sounds
Uh,
good.
Hi again. I'm Wayne Sutton, head of community at Convex. And welcome to Convex Show and Tell Live. We're members of the Convex community, and you all watching live can participate. They ask questions during the event or afterwards. But we ask individuals, sometimes Convex champions like Hosna, to talk about how they build their products on Convex and go from there. And show us how to build and how to use Convex in the back end. But for those who are new to Convex, Convex is an open source backend application for builders. It's an all-in-one platform with product-centric APIs that Hosna is going to talk about. That Convex has built-in reactivity, scalable persistence, and end-to-end type safety for developers to spend more time building and less time managing, scaling, deploying infrastructure, so forth. Convex is a backend, it's a BaaS, but it's much more. Convex is compatible with your favorite front-end frameworks such as Vue, React, Next.js, and more. And we said about some upcoming features and announcements we have down the road. But today, we're excited to have Hosna Qasmei, software engineer at ProjectPlannerAI.com, on how she built an AI platform with Convex to help her finish her side projects. And also, Hosna is a Convex champion. Hosna, thank you for joining us, and welcome to the show and tell live.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and being able to share what we've been working on. So cool. Let me see. Should I share my screen or let's
Yes.
see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm sharing. Is it possible if you could? I don't know if it's casting on your end. There you go. Awesome. Oh, think that's your
Try to do
PowerPoint.
try to do it one more time.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see.
There we go.
Yay, there we go. Yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about how I built an AI platform to help me finish my side projects. I'm Hosna, and then let me give you a little bit of a rundown on what I'm going to be talking about. So here's the table of contents. I'm going to be talking about the team, the problem, some research that we did, and the MVP, and then our pivots. And I'll get more into that. And then later on, I'll actually do a live demo of the active or live website that we have, and also take a look at the code a little bit to show how we're using Convex. So let's see. Let's get started with the team. So it's me, Hosna. I'm a software engineer, also content creator, and I'm working with Cody from WebDev Cody, who is also a developer and a well-known tech content creator in the YouTube space. So it's just both of us, both technical, and we're figuring out like the marketing side to it to monetize our product. But yeah, so the problem I think with any great side project, or a profitable side project, you have to think about the problem that you're trying to solve. So I think, how many of you, if you're listening or if you're watching this later, have experience struggling with finishing your side projects? I think that's a common thing that people, or especially developers, experience. Like there's a bunch of memes out there. There's you and new side projects and all your other unfinished side projects that are accumulating in your GitHub accounts. You get inits and then your unfinished side projects. Whenever you start a new project or idea that you have, and then also you adding a new side project to the list of unfinished side projects. So I think in our culture or within the space, it's you know, a, a thing that we all experience. Um, and then lastly, working on one side project days ago and then starting a new one. And then So there's this problem, right? There's like you're switching context all the time depending on specific issues. So for me, I actually tweeted about this end of last year, about like how to start and finish this side project, because I really started thinking about it because I experienced this issue of having so many side projects, having so many ideas, but then realizing, I have like almost 30, 40 repos of projects that I think I'm gonna get back to, but then end up not. And like, what's the reason behind that? Is like, is there a formula that you could follow in order for you to finish it, hopefully in the future, or get some progress on it to get it to a specific point where it's like working and functional and people are using it? So then the next day, I really thought about it and tried to break it down into steps because I like really visualizing how to get things done. Hello, welcome. I see the people in the chat. Thanks for joining. So this was like a high level of things that I broke down that I noticed that I did with every project, right? Choosing a project, defining the problem, thinking of a solution, understanding your user, I think is important, then doing research, and then all this other stuff. And, I said this is something that you have to do, think about. And then the other aspect to think about is the UI and the UX. And then the actual building comes into play, right? Where like your front end, back end, or full stack experience comes into play. And then sort of like DevOps-ish tasks that you have to do in the end to get it to production so people can start using it, and whatnot. So when I posted this tweet out, I actually got a response or from Cody, and then he joined my Discord, and it's cool because Cody, I've been watching a lot of his content, and I've been trying to put out my own content, but I learned a lot of stuff through YouTube. So it's really cool to see like other people in this space, trying to support or like trying to solve the same problems that you are. So here's like a DM. He said, "This is how it all began. This is where it all began last year. I'm looking for motivated people to work on some random side projects." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down, you know." And then he said, "Just for the lulz, I may do the project I talked about on Twitter, abandoned side projects." So this is like a common topic. And then he said, if I could have a way to visualize how many projects I've given up on, maybe it'll help me like stay focused or want to finish them. And that's where I said, a platform to help you finish your side project. So this was where it originated from. And then he's like, "Yeah, let's build it." So just wanted to share that. Thought that was cool. So then what we did is, once we said, yeah, okay, here's the problem that we're trying to solve, we did some research and some high level research, right? Like, why don't we finish our side projects? There's a bunch of reasons that we personally wrote out and tried to brainstorm, right? Is it lack of planning? Is it time constraints? Is it like you lose motivation over time because you get tired of the project? Is it scope creep, right? When you start a project, then you start thinking about a bunch of other things that you can add and a bunch of ideas. But then what eventually happens is you get a backlog of things that you want to build. But then, then it goes back to maybe you might lose motivation because you get stuck somewhere. Maybe it's for perfectionism. It's not good enough. So you're scared to, put it out into the world. Is it like right distraction by new ideas, or no or external deadlines on yourself, especially if you're a solo developer, if you're just trying to create projects to put on your resume, or to just build up your coding experience and stuff like that. There's a bunch of things that can cause you to not finish your side project. And we thought we just wanted to focus on one area so we could build something for. And we chose the first one, lack of planning. Maybe we could create something using AI to help us maybe plan out things so it could save us more time. Right, we just, let's see, the next slide, the MVP, right? So I could get into that. So, right, the MVP that we said we want to create like an AI plan generator. The target user would be like developers and solopreneurs. Requirements. So it's important to like lay out the things that you want to, at least on the high level, get done. So we said, should take us about less than a month to build. Should generate a plan for the user. So that's what we wanted to achieve. And then the expected input from the user, right? Like, let's say you have an idea, like I want an app that does something or does this, and then a target user to help the AI really to build more context around like what the plan should be, and then the output would be like a plan to help you build out that idea. And then with this MVP, we wanted to validate if is this something that people are interested in, or people care about, finishing their side projects, or is it just something they've accepted? And then in order to monetize it, we just did something simple, one-time payment, like $5 for 5 credits, which you could generate like 5 projects, project plans. So that was our like high level MVP. And then here's like a little bit of a diagram of how like I think it's important to understand how the data flows, right? So we got the user, they enter a specific input that we're expecting from them. We get the input and then we send it to our backend, which we're using Convex for. And then we have functions that then we receive those inputs, and then we are using API and the OpenAI API, and then we're doing some prompt engineering, giving it a couple prompts to then generate the plan that we want to give to the user. So we save that data to our Convex database, and then depending on the user, because you have to log in, we attach that generated plan to that user that we can then fetch from the front end and display to the user when it's done being generated. And I could show, or actually before I show you a demo of what that looks like, I'll talk a little bit. Here's our tech stack that we use for both our MVP, and then I'll talk about why we pivoted to a project management platform. But yeah, here are our core technologies. We're using Next.js. For authentication, we're using Clerk, and for our backend and storage, we are using Convex. So Convex has a great documentation. We're able to easily set up a Clerk with Convex. And now, since the release of Convex Auth, then now you could do way more stuff within with less less outsourcing into third-party services. But I think Clerk worked for us because it's more stable. But besides that, yeah. And then for styling, we used Tailwind CSS with Shad CN UI. Hosting, we're hosting on Railway rather than Vercel, because it takes some time to generate the plan, like about like a little bit over a minute. And if it takes that long, Vercel charges you if you're using if you're on the free plan, you only have a limited amount of using like edge functions. So that's why we decided to go with Railway and just host it in a Docker container. And then for analytics, to see if people are actually using the product, we're using PostHog, and then our own analytics with Convex that we created to track events. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then for emailing, like sending like welcome emails and payments, we're using Stripe. Like I said, for the API, we're using OpenAI API for now. We haven't really tried out other AI APIs yet, like Claude or Perplexity, because the OpenAI has been working for us for now. And then for other stuff, for security and SEO, we're using Google for SEO, Google Search Console to track if people are searching up and if we're getting hits on our page. And then for security, because Cody experienced a DDoS attack on one of his other side projects, so he thought it would be cool to add in DDoS protection through Cloudflare. Yeah, how good is PostHog? That's a great question. Someone asked. Let's see, it's pretty good. I think PostHog sometimes I think it's a little bit intimidating because there's a lot of different things that you can set up on their dashboard, and it's like you have to spend time to understand what those things are. Which can be a pro and a con, because you're like, I don't need that many stuff. I just need to know how many people are hitting our landing page, or how many people are hitting a certain page on our website, or what's the most hit page and stuff like that. So I think we are using PostHog to validate our own analytics, which I'll show you, just to simplify like certain analytics that we're trying to collect. But let's see, 2 major reasons why project fails. Failing to define objectives clearly, lack of communication. As for motivation, that has to come internally. It's fueled by discipline. Yes, that is a great comment. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, thanks for joining the chat. Cool. Yeah, but let's say you're the only one that's working on the project, right? So in terms of communication, maybe communication with yourself, you're not really being accountable for the deadlines, I guess you're trying to set, or really, I guess, organization, right? Going back to the planning aspect of it, which is what you said, right? Objective, clearly stating what your objectives are. So that's all good stuff. So yeah, so this is our overall tech stack. Let me go to the next one. So yeah, so here's our initial MVP. I have a little demo that I got from Twitter. Let me slow it down because it's a little bit fast. Let me see. So this was our initial landing page. Turn your idea into a plan with one click. So that was our hook. So people can convert. Let's see. So we click on that. So here are a couple generated plans already in the system. And then if we create a plan, like I showed before, that data flow diagram, we ask the user for their idea, and then what the target user is. And then when they input that information and you press create plan, what happens in the backend, which I'll show in the code in a little bit, is it sends off a request to the backend with that information, and then says, okay, we need to generate these sections within our plan based off of this information using the OpenAI API. So then it does that. It takes a couple seconds. And the cool thing with Convex, right, we could update it live so you can see, hold on tight, we're generating these sections. And then throughout the video, you'll see each section will then show up as it's done being generated. And if some other ones are still being generated, it will still do it in the backend. So then, and then you can see on the side here, these are the different sections that it's going to be creating right here, right? So we got product names, icons, assets, competitive analysis, right? All these things that you sort of have to look into and do research for. You could use AI to do that all for you and have it in an organized manner. So then, if you just have an idea, a target user, you could see, okay, these are other things that I might want to think about. So you don't really have to spend that much time thinking about. So let's see, a couple seconds in. So you can see right now, that section for the product names popped up. So these are a couple names that you can maybe use if you don't really have any name ideas. And here is a color palette that was generated through OpenAI. We gave it a specific prompt, say, based off of this topic, can you create this color palette for us using primary, neutral, and then give us 8 different swatches or whatever. But as you can see, it didn't come out great because we need to improve our prompting to make sure that it's at a certain shade. But then yeah, so then here we go, and then we are also using Dolly to generate the icons for us. So these are some icon ideas that you could, or even icons that you can use and download from our end, and then also some other assets if you want to use on the site. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. And then, right, same thing with the assets, and then it'll keep going, and then it'll show up on your dashboard right here. So this was our MVP, and it did pretty well. We got a lot of people to get a couple credits, and I think we made about, I forgot, maybe $500 or something like that within the first week or two. Actually $300 within the first week or two. And they got a lot of impressions on Twitter. But what we noticed is that a lot of people were one-time users, and then a lot of people weren't using all their credits. They maybe use 1 or 2 credits out of the 5 credits that they have. So there was no reason for someone to keep coming back to our website. It was just a one-time payment. They got their plan, but there was no way to make sure that they stuck to the plan, or that to keep track of all of the ideas that you have besides that one dashboard, but you couldn't really see the progress or do anything else. So that's why we pivoted to creating a AI project management platform. Same target user, right? Developers and solopreneurs. And we changed our requirements a little bit. We want to also be able to track the progress for each project, be able to add and share with team members. So then you could have more of a a platform and a collaborative environment, because what we noticed, me and Cody, is that this was like what this project, the Project Planner AI, which is the name of the platform, we got pretty far with it, and we actually, monetized it a little bit, because it was the two of us, right? We used the what's it called, our strengths, each of our strengths, in order to grow this project. If it was just me, I don't think I would have gotten it that far, because I'm limited to specific technical abilities, and then with him, same, in terms of like other aspects of it. So I think working together really helped us, and that's why, we wanted to add that feature as well. And then also we are using our own platform to create, or keep track of our own projects. So we were using the product every day. We are using the product every day, in order to track all of our projects, including this one. So here are some features that, while talking with Cody, that we thought might be good, and things that would be helpful to us. So in terms of like less context switching and having everything in a centralized location. So here are some features that we have, which I'll go through in the live demo in a bit. But in terms of features, we have in-app messaging, so it's real time. So if I send a message, she will get it immediately. And then we have a finance tracker, so we can keep track of our finances, so our expenses, our revenue, and then our profit, how much we made for a specific month or year, whatever. We could keep track of that. And then a feedback collector. So the thing with micro SaaSes, there are other micro SaaSes that people have created in order to collect information from users. So like Postdoc, for example, is an analytics tool, right? Or I believe Canny, or what's it called, Sinja, is a well-known testimonials collector platform, where people where you can collect testimonials from your users and have it in one place. But we wanted to add a couple to our project management platform to do the same thing. But rather than using all these other third-party platforms, just have it within our platform, so we don't have to like have so many tabs open. We could just do it within ours, and then same thing, events and reporting. We have Stripe integration, so rather than opening up Stripe every time, you could connect your Stripe account to your project, and then you'll see whenever someone buys your product, then it will show up in the finance tracker section. And then for bookmarks, so let's say, you're doing research and you come across a couple different links that you see, or that you find or want to use for inspiration, but you want to save that, you can save that within your Chrome browser bookmarks. But then now you have bookmarks everywhere for different projects. So we thought that having bookmarks within your specific project and being able to save it there is very useful, as well as files. Let's say there's like, for us, me and Cody did a contract. So we have that contract within our platform for that specific project. And let's say you're doing freelancing or other projects, you can use our platform to make sure that, the clients have access to like what you're working on, because we have a Kanban. We have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of different features that we added, and maybe we scope creeped a little bit. But yeah, let's see. What is the chat saying? The AI is efficient. I love how it categorizes the output. It only gives you relevant info and actively provides refines content of projects, preventing delays to competition. Can't wait to see the new stuff the dev team will add. Awesome. Thank you, Brendan. Let's see the next comment. I'd like to see how you approach integrations. I loved watching the evolution of the project, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And then let me actually, so we've also been building this in public. So I have a playlist on my channel, on my YouTube channel, which is Hosna Qasmei, where I've been live streaming, building this project live on the web. So from the beginning, and also like focusing on different topics, right? Like, how do you add onboarding? Clerk has a great article that I share on one of my videos discussing how to add onboarding flow to your Next.js project. And it came out this year, so it was pretty new. So it was really useful for us to create our onboarding flow. And then also in adding like different sections, like you saw these sections in the previous slide, right? Each one of these asterisks with the name messages. Each one of these is a table in our schema, in our Convex schema, which I'll go into. But like, let's say, like this is a new feature, right? You have to think about, okay, how is that going to fit inside your database? So that would that be a new table? So then we created a new table for it with specific columns. So then what the inputs that we're expecting from the users, then we would save it to that row in that table, to that user, and save the user ID that's associated with it. Yep. Okay. So, and yeah, same thing with Cody. He's been doing a lot of great content as well. Really going through the code and showing how specific features were made on the platform. I think he added like in-app notifications. So if someone on your team posted a new item, then you could see you have a little bubble right there to see get a notification that someone created a new work item on your team. So that's like one example. And then he went into it and how he also uses Convex in the project as well. And he's done a lot of great tutorials on using Convex in your projects. So go check those out as well. And then now I'm going to go into the demo portion of this talk. So we could check out the live website. Let me actually go to the landing page so I can show you what it looks like. So this is what our current landing page looks like. Manage your side projects in one place, track and maintain and streamline every aspect of your side project. And here's just a little screenshot of what the dashboard looks like, and then some pros and cons. Are you tired of unfinished side projects? Without it, you'll waste time catching up where you left off, juggle between multiple tools and tabs open, which is annoying, lose track of progress and expenses, overwhelmed by chaos leading to unfinished projects. And then with our platform, help you streamline all your side projects in one place, share your projects and collaborate with team members, and etc. So yeah, and then we go inside, and then all we're charging, we have a free plan, and then for $5 a month, you get access more than one project. On the free plan, you only have ability to create one project without the AI capabilities. And then if you go to the dashboard, so here are all the projects that I've added that I'm working on or not working on at the moment. So you're able to set the status of each project. So I have some projects that are archived or stale or building but haven't touched in a second. And then I have other projects that I've gotten pretty farther along. So this helps me visually to see what needs to be worked on, or what projects I need to come back to and revisit. And these are the live ones that I have right now. So I've gotten pretty far with a lot of them, and most of them I am also using Convex. So I try to keep my stack very similar, so it's not difficult for me to like jump to different stacks all the time, because I think having the same stacks helps you a lot. So here is our project for ProjectPlannerAI. So like I said, we're using our own platform to maintain or to build this platform. It's like platform inception. But yeah, so here is some stuff that we need to work on. Some of our done items. This is our Kanban board, so you could switch between different views. And then also we have this section right here. So this is our plan that was generated for us. So this is our overview section, our marketing section, names for our app. And then let's see, this is our SEO section. This is a section that Cody added or thought of. He thought it would be helpful in terms of like figuring out what your wording should be to help you, get better conversions. And then this is really cool. The competitive analysis that OpenAI generates. So you can see, there's Jira, Trello, Asana, all these other project management platforms that people know of. But the reason why we wanted to build ours is because we wanted it to be more niche and specifically to builders and solopreneurs, and have specific features for them, rather than, I think with Jira, with Trello, all these other ones are specifically, it's like more broad, more general, and it's a little bit limited in certain senses. Like you can't add Stripe integration to see all your Stripe, what's it called, purchases, but we can. But with them, and then also sometimes these project management platforms are a little bit too complicated than they need to be. So we wanted to simplify and create a simple, dashboard that makes you want to come back and want to work on your projects. And then, yeah, all these other ones that from the initial MVP we kept, we just put it in a different tab. And then we have a roadmap section, a public roadmap. So we could let our users keep updated to like what we're working on or what the next feature is going to be built. And then you could preview this on its own page. And then you could also integration guide. What this is that you could add your own roadmap page to your project, and whatever you add here, it will show there as well on your website. So that's the cool thing about that. And then resources, this is where we put all of our links that I mentioned and any inspiration, any documents. Excuse me. And then this is our finances. So I could see monthly, so far we have a profit of $73. Total revenue was 81, but our expense has been $7, not including the charges for OpenAI API yet, because we add that at the end of the month. But this is our profit for the year, and then this is our profit for all time. So this is cool to see for each project, how much you're making or how much you're spending, and because I feel like you lose track of that when you're trying to build projects. Thank you, I appreciate it, Ahmed. Then change log, it's similar to roadmap, but this is like changes that you've made to the platform and like what features that you've added rather than like future features that you're going to add. And then our feedback section, we get feedback from users, and then we keep it and track all here. And then this is our events page that I was talking about. Rather than using PostHog, we use this that we're using with Convex. Let's see. And you can see it for each month. And then we have a bunch of different, endpoints that people can hit. Let me see. So let's say generated plan. We can see how many people have generated plans. Not that many, but that's things that we know that now we have to improve on our platform to see like the activity and whatnot. And then you could also add markers to the, let's see, week 1, week 3 months. Okay. So here are some markers. So in terms of marketing, right? If there's a video that Cody posts, or if there's a newsletter that comes out that talks about Project Planner AI, or I did a live stream on YouTube, like you could see that's why there's an increase in maybe traffic. So that could help us keep track of that. And then here are some reports. So we could see in the last few weeks, we haven't really been up to date on building out or fixing new bugs. But yeah, so this is for the last few weeks, like what each of us have been working on. Let me see. Here we go. And then you can keep track of like who's working on what and how many items have they been able to complete. And then this is our in-app messaging. So this is how I communicate with Cody on ideas and whatnot. And then the cool AI features for this would be, let's say I want to convert this to a work item. We're talking in the app, and let's say, oh, I have an idea. Why don't we do this? So instead of going inside the work items tab and figuring out, oh, what kind of items should we add there? I could just do this, and it generates a work item for us here, and it adds it to this section here. And then, like I said, we have a Stripe integration, and then working on adding Google Search Console because their dashboard is a little bit all over the place. There's a lot going on, so trying to simplify that. And then project settings, you're able to update your project name. This is all live using Convex. And then also getting notifications if you want to be sent emails. I think we're using Convex cron jobs for this. And then you'll get reminded to you haven't worked on your project in 7 days or whatnot, and then make sure that you get back to it. So yeah, and then here are a few projects that I've been working on that I've been keeping track of, and having all my quick links here, so it's easy to access. I can access my GitHub or my Vercel or any of my other analytics that I have here for my other projects. And then I've gotten pretty far with them. This is one of my newest ones, Portfolios Hub. One of the ideas that I had. And then this is also using Convex. So you're able to like like stuff in real time. So let's say I like this portfolio, and then it shows up in my dashboard right here as a favorite. It shows up right here. These are all the ones that I favorited. If I unfavorite it, then it removes it automatically. So that's the beauty of Convex's real-time functions. And let's see. So that's one of the projects. And then another project, Tech Stack Finder. This is, you're able to find tech stack, what's it called, alternatives. So let's say auth. These are all the different auth providers that are available. This is also using Convex. So yeah, yeah, a bunch of different projects that I have. So I've been able to make progress on them and see, what needs to be worked on, and whatnot. And then if we have some time to look at the code, so we could look at, I could show you how the flow is. So this is our repository. Like I mentioned, we're using Next.js. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And Convex. So with Convex, you have to have, it generates its own folder for you, so that where you keep all your Convex functions and schema and your schema and whatnot. So how it works, if I go back to here, let's say I want to create a new project, I have this new project button. And this new project button opens up this sheet. And what this sheet is doing here is, let's see, I have this create project sheet. And once it's just a form, right, with these inputs, the project name, the idea, and the audience. And then I have a Convex function within this folder, or this API endpoint that I'm hitting. It's an action. And we want it to create a plan for us, to generate a plan once we submit the sheet. And then what it's going to do is going to go hit this. So this is on the front end, right? And then this is how you initialize it here. And then this is the properties, or the arguments that you're passing to it. And then what you want to eventually do, then retrieve the plan ID to then redirect the page from this page to the new project page, that it generates, like one of these sub pages. So then it generates like one of these sub pages, and then it fills out the plan for you, and it generates all these for you. So this is the AI aspect of it. So it goes here, and then within our Convex folder, if you go here, you could just follow this endpoint, right? API plans. So within the plans folder right here, we have a file called actions. And then within the actions file, we have this function called create plan. So it's hitting that endpoint right here, And then it's just initializing the project, because we have to have empty things within it first. So then it knows that when to generate that page. And then what happens next is, since this is the code for the, let's see, we had an issue because on the free plan, we didn't want everybody to be able to generate the AI, or generate the plan, because it costs us money. So in order for you to use the AI stuff, you have to upgrade to the Pro plan, which is $5. And then what happens then, there's a placeholder that's shown. And then once the project is created, because you still have access to the project, right? You'll have access to all these features. But then this won't be generated. The plan won't be generated. Actually, let's see if we could try it live. Let me see if I could create one. I don't know if I've reached my limit. The recipe tracker, an app to track recipes. And then I'm gonna just use the default, a stay at home mom. So then when I press create, like I said, it's gonna go to that create function. So see, it redirects me here. And then we have the original inputs that we inputted, but then we get this placeholder page, right? Generate section. So I can't generate this until I click this button, which is the summary and the other aspects of these pages, right? These are all placeholdered, because we don't want people to be able to generate them until they want to. And then we have all these other features still that are still accessible. So let's say I want to add a finance item, right? You could do something like that. Open AI API expense. And then you'll see in real time it being added. The table is shown here. And then you got everything shown, right? So let me go back to here. So how the placeholder one works, right? I got this placeholder. We press generate plan, and then it's going to hit that generate plan endpoint within my Convex actions. And then it's going to go through a bunch of actions that we want it to go through. So we have more things. We want it to generate different sections. So we have an array of strings. We're going to run an internal mutation. So this is all like Convex lingo and syntax, but it's really easy for me. I didn't really know that much about how to do this stuff with Convex. I used Supabase in the past, but I think with backend in general, everything is like mostly the same in terms of logic. It's just how you do it in a different syntax. But it was easy to pick up, I feel like, because it took me a while to figure out how to use Supabase's real-time broadcast functions, which was confusing. But that's why I really like Convex, because it was easy to implement. And then here, all we do is we're going to go through each one of these files. So let's say I want to let's generate the color palette. This is how we generate the color palette. We're going to hit this section here, go to colors. And then we're going to hit this function, generate color palette actions. So that's right here. Actually, where is that? That is right here. And then let's see, runs a mutation. And then this is where we're doing our prompting. So this is how we are, let's see. So I give it, this is the default, but let's see, we are using OpenAI chat completions create. So we're using OpenAI. So we have a file just for OpenAI GPT. This is how you initialize it. Ask for GPT JSON. This is how you make sure that OpenAI returns to you a JSON file rather than like a random string. And then let's see. And then, yeah, we have this, where is it? Where are you? I was just on you right here. We have this prompt, right, that we're passing. You're a side project planner assistant. You're going to help me organize my thoughts to create a finished side project plan. So we give it like a little bit of context of what we're trying to do, and then say, this is what we want to generate a color palette. So this is all prompting that we have this function and a bunch of functions for our AI to then generate our output. Then we display to our users. So let's go ahead and do that. So in the plan section, if I click on generate section, now it's generating those sections. It's going through that array of strings that I told you about right here, going through each one of these files to then going through the prompt and generating those sections, and then returning it back to the database right here. Excuse me, right here. Run mutation. So then we're going to update the plan with the data that we retrieved from OpenAI. And then there we go. So we get this section, we get the marketing. So we got our assets right before our placeholders that were there before. This is SEO, competitive analysis, other projects or other products that are similar, and etc. But anyway, yeah, so some of them are still building. Some of them have some bugs in it still that we're trying to debug. But overall, it saves you a lot of time. Here are some features to think about. Allow users to input and save their own recipes. Really lays it out for you. So and then also it generates for you work items. So here are some items that you could work on already. So cooking timer. Excuse me. So that wasn't there before, right? None of these work items were there. So it auto generates it for you and it populates it for here. So you have something to start on, or like things that you can maybe edit. And this is right here, AI generated. So you know that AI is the one that generated these for you. but anyway, yeah. So that's Project Planner AI. I think if you want to try it out, feel free. Let's see. Let me go to the last slide here. So that's a little bit of a demo, but that's it from me. Thank you for letting me share our project. And if you want to try it out for free, go ahead. You could scan the QR code. If you have any questions, you could reach out to me or reach out to Cody on Twitter. You can find us there. But yeah, I'll thank you, Wayne. And that's it.
Hey, thanks so much for the demo and the show and tell live. Um, and yeah, let's see if anyone has any questions, and we can go from there. But and I have a question to kick things off though. Let me change this right quick.
Yeah, for
If you
sure.
want to stop sharing your screen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Stop
All right,
sharing.
thanks. There we go. And you can do this. Cool. Yeah. So you mentioned that you was familiar with other backend platforms, and then you learned Convex. You started learning Convex. Was there any migration involved, or just like start brand new with a new Convex build?
Yeah, so the migration was a little bit difficult. I think I talked to you or mentioned it at one of the Convex champions meetings where like if there's any documentation on how to make migrations a little bit smoother. Because I think what we had to do at that time, our user base was small. So it wasn't that difficult to like, just hard like download, export, and then put it into Convex. And I think with Convex is easy too, because you add document, right, button to a specific table and just populate the JSON data. So that was pretty easy to do. But I think it would be cool, to have some sort of like button where it just did it import from Supabase or something like that. But that's probably complicated, and maybe that's why it hasn't been implemented because of the different, I don't know, syntax or stuff. But yeah.
All right. Well, InDesign hit a product, and I'll pass the feedback along in terms of like a one button import from other backends to Convex. That sounds like a good feature to have.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you mentioned another question is that you mentioned. Oh, let me go to the chat right quick. Um, someone said, "Wow, that was awesome."
Thank you. Appreciate it, Pratham.
Yeah. Another question I mentioned, another question I thought of is you mentioned about feature creep, and so like I saw a lot of like different standalone products that you all have like built into Project Planner. What was
Yeah.
that brainstorming session like in terms of like, do we want to build a Trello? Do we want to build this? Want to build that? But have it all in one solution. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think with Cody, I think both of us initially, even like before settling down on the MVP, and then now we sort of like backtracked all back to because we had a lot of ideas of like things that as we were talking about what we should build. Oh, we should build this, we should build that. That'd be cool. Like it would save us a lot of time, maybe in the future. Um, and then really, okay, we'll come back to those as let's do an MVP, that initial AI plan generated. That's why I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because that was like what value are we providing to users? So I think that the plan, right, just something to start on, was our initial thing. But then our issue was how do we grow that? Like because we noticed that we just only had one-time users. There wasn't really that much. We didn't know. We got stuck, sort of like what's the next thing we should work on. Um, so then that's why we're like, okay, maybe let's do our original idea of a platform to manage all of our side projects. Let's start with, having the plan, and then maybe these other things that we noticed or came across while building our projects that would be nice to have in a platform. But then with scope creep, the thing is that we did a live demo or user interaction, or someone using the product live for the first time. And they said, they felt overwhelmed because there was like a lot of different tabs, and then some of them they don't need. So within our onboarding process, when you create an account, we ask like, here are all the features that we offer. Which ones are you going to use for your project? And then what happens is when that project is generated, only those tabs show up. So let's say
Nice.
you want, so that's where we sort of came to a middle ground. We could add these features, or they're there, but you could also hide them as well, so that it's not overwhelming to the user. And if you want to be like, let's say another project, oh, I do want that feature, but for this project, I don't, then you could like hide and show it on the UI, right? Because in the backend, it's still there, But the
Yeah.
UI, you could just hide it. It's out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's much easier. That's smart because it's much easier to like hide it and you already have it built versus build it when people start asking for it, right?
Right, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
cool thing is that for the feedback, so I think the two features that we have got a lot of benefit from is our basic like Kanban that we have. That's like the main thing that we use a lot because that helps us like that little progress bar on the bottom to see like where your project stands. It's based off of the items that are completed on that. But then
Mhm.
also like our feedback so people can leave feedback directly on our site through our like little button or pop over, and then it goes directly to our dashboard so we can see like all the feedback. And then that's how we figure out, okay, if there's a bug or if there's something that we didn't see, if there's a feature that people want or something that people want to be able to edit. We got a lot. We got like almost like 100 of stuff, and then most of them we started like creating work items for them. So getting feedback is so useful. It's so helpful because when you're using it and you're building it, you see it one way. As soon as other people see it, it's like, oh, I didn't really think of it that way. Maybe that's not as intuitive and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, agreed, agreed, agreed. And now that you're familiar with Convex and you've built what 3 projects on Convex? Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
4 projects on Convex.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have an assumption just answer, but I shouldn't make assumptions. But like, how easy do you see like not now if you built on Convex, have multiple projects, like how easy is it just to get started with Convex and as you're back in it and recommend other people to use it? Like what is like your like 1 sentence or 2 sentence pitch? Like, hey, this is why I use Convex because now you built these multiple projects on top of
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it.
Convex, it took me less than an hour to set up everything and get project live with a
Wow.
backend that works. It's like it's so fast. It's easy to set up. The documentation, like it really walks you through the basic setup, and then also I think the community, the Discord, the community there, and the people that work at Discord, like Michael, and I think who else respond, Ian.
Yeah.
Like any question that I have or anything that I get stuck on, if I like post it there, like I get an immediate response.
Yeah.
Or like within like a couple hours. And then one time I posted something that, like the night of, like I was up late working on something, and then the next morning I saw Michael responding to it. I'm like, dang, like you guys got back to this fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas with other backend basses that I've used, like Supabase, it took them like weeks to respond to a question, or like no one knew like what the issue was, or it was a little bit more difficult because there's a lot of people, I'm assuming, that has questions there. So I
Yeah.
think this is, Convex is good right now because I think you could get a lot of questions answered. And then also if there's any feature requests, I know one time like with Cody, he wanted you guys to add something to the dashboard for me to see it because I wasn't able to see it for something. And then the turnaround time so I could get access to it like was insane, like
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's my experience, yeah, with Convex and why.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
just a great developer experience overall. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I'm sure the team inside of here that Ian, Michael, and the whole DX team, like they're awesome, just answering questions and so forth. And I jump in and try to do what I can. But I'm not a full stack developer, but no, they own it. They own it. But yeah, one thing people when they come across Convex, some people they don't realize that we're only like a year older in terms of product, right?
Crazy.
Where someone like Postgres, Supabase, like they've been out for years. So
Yeah.
um, we're happy to support like yourself and Cody and the community, and we hope we continue to provide support as the community grows and more people learn about Convex.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
appreciate the support and giving us the
yeah,
opportunity to showcase what we're working on. So thank you.
yeah. You're welcome, welcome. Well, thanks for being on Show and Tell Live today, and I see you on Twitter, see you on Discord, and thanks for presenting.
Sounds good. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right. All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, everyone, that is a wrap for our second show and tell live. Let me get some slides up. 1 second. Here we go. That's a wrap for our second show and tell live. We host these once a month here on X, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, various YouTube channels, our YouTube channel. And if you are want to get started building your app today, or as Hosna or others have done, migrate your backend to Convex. Check out our docs. If you're not part of the Discord community, as Hosna was just talking about, feel free to join our Discord, convex.dev/community. And if you're already using Convex and interested in joining our Champions program, you can check out our Champions program. And if you're a startup that has some high growth potential, or a venture backed startup, and you put interest in that startups program, check us out at convex.dev/startups. Or if you're an existing startup that's using Convex and interested in our startup program, feel free to check us out as well and apply to join the program. But thank you all for joining. We appreciate you spending time with us. I'm Wayne Sutton, head of community events at Convex, and I'll see you online.